Hi Cancers, welcome to your August 2019 Astrology 33 reading. Thank you to those of you who have liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, donated to the channel. I appreciate all those things, just wanted to say that. And also for those of you who like to book a personal reading with me, follow me on Instagram or donate to the channel, just check out the description of the video. I have all that information there. Alright, so with that out of the way, we'll get to your main spread. So we have a Celtic cross spread as always, some extra cards came up there. I also pulled some oracle cards that we'll use to help tie everything together after we get through the main spread, and then also a mudra card. And I have to say, first thing that's jumping out to me with this big time is I feel like someone's playing funny with money around you. So I don't know if this is a boss, a friend, a romantic partner, but it seems like there's definitely a little bit of deception, or at a minimum there's some confusion around money. So that's really the main theme I'm picking up on here. I'm not seeing much else other than that. I mean, we'll see if that changes as we start to go through the spread, but I just wanted to say that. So for those of you who might be looking for more of like a love vibe or something, I will be doing bonus love readings for August again. So, if that's more of what you're looking for, maybe you could check that reading out. It should be up in the next, maybe by the end of the month, basically. So by the time August starts, you should see those readings up. All right, let's get started with your main spread. In the position of the main influence on the situation, we have the Ace of Pentacles and the Ace of Swords. So these two cards together, first, what I always say with the aces, if we look at them, we see there's always that hand coming out of the cloud. So to me, this usually says that it's something that's more in the idea stage, maybe a communication around the idea, but not necessarily having it tangibly play out yet. So with the Ace of Pentacles, for example, this could be an example I like to give with the Ace of Pentacles is, let's say someone offers you a job, right? So, okay, now you know you have the job. Eventually you will be getting that money. But let's say, all right, so I'm recording this right in the middle of July, right as we're going through that lunar eclipse in Capricorn. But for those of you who watch this in August, let's say you get a job offer on August 1st, right? So how that typically would play out, okay, let's say you put your 2 week in at your current job, right? So then you might start working in that job, the new job, around the middle of August, and then usually you figure you got to work for 2 weeks before you get a paycheck. So, okay, yeah, you might get the job offer on August 1st, but you might not see your first paycheck from them until September. So that's just an idea of what the ace energies represent to me. It's like there could be communication, especially with the Ace of Swords, but, you just might not get anything tangible from it until a little bit later down the line. So with these two cards together, two aces, there could definitely be a new start around money, without a doubt. Or maybe you're going to be hearing some truth around finances. So like I said, I'm really getting this vibe that, someone might be withholding some money from you, and maybe you just, didn't know what the deal was with it exactly, but I have a feeling that this month some truth might come out about that. And, on a more mundane level, it doesn't have to be something as scandalous, right? This could just be saying that maybe you received some kind of an offer for a new start financially, right? Maybe you guys applied for something a while back with the Mercury retrograde energy. Maybe, you weren't hearing anything back from them, and then it seems like out of the blue, they come back around, hey, we want to give you the job. Could play out that way. But like I said, I have to say, for a majority of you, though, I think it is something a little bit shady around the whole deal. So, did want to put out both possibilities, though. In the challenge position, we have the Strength card. So this is actually the Major Arcana card for Leo. So this could be saying that you're dealing with the Leo. That's a possibility. But I'm not really getting that energy as much here. What I'm really seeing with this, especially with, if I could get it to focus, I don't know why it's not cooperating, but if we look at the artwork, it's like she's trying to pry that lion's mouth open. Well, really, it depends on how you look at it. It could be that they're trying to shut the lion's mouth, but in this particular instance, I'm thinking of it more like they're actually trying to pry it open. So that leads me back to the Ace of Pentacles and the Ace of Swords, which is to say, the challenge or obstacle is you might really have to flex a little bit to get some information out of these people. You know what I mean? You might have to really push them, like, okay, what's really going on here? You know? And this could just be pointing to a timeline as well, though, saying that, you know, maybe as we move through the time of Leo, that might be when this information finally does come out. And not only that, more specifically, a vibe that I'm getting with this actually is going to be a timeline around the time of the full moon in Leo. The reason I say that, to me, I see progression in the major arcana, so I actually see this as a mixture of that's Cancer energy right there, and that's Leo energy. Cancer is ruled by the moon, as you guys know, I'm sure. So to me, that makes me think of the full moon in Leo, maybe even the new moon, but I'm getting more of a feeling of a full moon because I'm feeling more of a opposition type energy with it. So definitely look out for that full moon in Aquarius, which is your eighth house too. And you know, eighth house does represent others' resources. You know, obviously death and sex and all that stuff too, but it represents the resources of other people. So that full moon could really bring some information to light around that. In the foundation position, we have the Two of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles. So, see, I'm getting a bit more of a deceptive vibe with these two cards too. And what I mean by that is, on the surface, right? Like if we look at how these two cards were laid out in the spread, it's like on the surface, whoever this is might give you the impression that, oh, you know, we don't really have enough money to, you know, whether give you something that you're already owed or, you know, give you a raise if it's a workplace thing, right? Maybe this is someone you already loan money to and they're trying to tell you, oh, I don't have the money. But really, they definitely absolutely have the money with the King of Pentacles as the card underneath that. Or this could just be saying that while you're struggling with finances, there's someone who totally could, you know, give you some financial help, but they're withholding that for some reason. Now, this is a court card for Taurus. You know, you guys might see the symbols with the bulls all over the throne. And really, what I see with that is it actually could even be a friend. Because for you guys, Taurus is your 11th house. So this can actually be a friend where there's some kind of a holdup with finances. I picked up on a slight vibe with that for the Gemini reading as well. So, you know, for those of you, let's say you're a Cancer Sun, but you have your Venus or Mercury in Gemini, this definitely might resonate with you even a little bit more. But yeah, it could be that, you know, there might be a friend that you might have loaned money to in the past, and maybe they're trying to tell you that they can't pay you back, but they absolutely have that money. Can be a Taurus as well, but yeah, that's the vibe that I'm picking up on primarily. Can also be a workplace too, though, because with King energy, you know, usually think of bosses, and with Pentacles, okay, that would definitely tie in with the whole finance thing, right? But either way, I have a feeling that this is either saying that you're the one who's, you know, who could use a little help financially, and there's someone who totally could assist with that, but they're really not doing so, or you know, there's someone giving you the impression that they don't have money, but they totally do. All right. In the past position, we have the Fool card. So this represents taking a leap of faith, and you know, in this particular case, this could just be saying a bit of naive energy, but not, you know, in a negative way. Just saying that, you know, you might have been really trusting with whether it be, like I said, a love partner for some of you, a friend, maybe even a job, right? Maybe you went into this job and they might have promised you a certain amount of money, right? When you guys first negotiated the deal. And when you actually came on board, you found out that it wasn't really what they tried to hype it up to be, right? That could be what's going on there. Because with the Fool card in the past, what stands out to me between that and the Challenger obstacle position is the similarities between these two cards. You know, obviously the yellow background is something that stands out. We have this person there, and then there's a dog, right? This time it's actually a lion. So it could just be saying that especially with this coming up in the challenge or obstacle position, it might be saying that, in the past you might have been, again, I'm hesitant to use the word naive, not because I don't want to offend you guys, but just because that's not really quite the word I'm looking for. But very open with the person, and just being yourselves, basically. You guys can be very open and loving sometimes. So you might have just totally trusted this person, and now the challenge is, with this coming up in the challenge, it could be saying that no, you gotta step up from being that nice person and just believing everything that they're saying, and actually really push them on the issue and say what's really going on here. That's the vibe that I'm getting there. In the present position, we have the Queen of Wands. So this is actually a court card for Aries. I sometimes see this as pointing to boss energy as well too, because the major arcana card for Aries is the Emperor. So this could just be someone that you're dealing with, or this could just again be pointing to saying that this is the energy you're being asked to take on. It's saying, okay, step out of that Queen of Cups energy for a while and step into that Queen of Wands energy, which is going to be more of, really putting your foot down and demanding answers, like what's really going on here. So I'm seeing a lot of that playing out for you guys. I feel like for the majority of you, this is going to be your energy, where it's saying that, you really have to push for answers here. And this could even just be you, though, still trying to decide, right? Because if we look at the wand, and then the sunflower, right? It could be saying that you're on the fence, like, should I beat them over the head? Not literally, hopefully. Or, should I still be a bit more understanding with them and come to them, a bit more peacefully to try to see what's really going on here? But I'm really picking up for the majority of you, this is your energy. For some of you, though, like I said, this could also represent the boss, especially because Aries is your 10th house, and 10th house is related to social status and career. So, like I said, if this is a workplace thing where they've been trying to deceive you as far as finances go, could just be saying that that's what you're dealing with coming into the month. What's interesting is the Queen of Wands is looking at the card at the bottom of the deck, which is the Two of Swords. So to me, this is a Libra card. It points to justice, right? We look at the artwork. The woman has her back turned to the water and to the moon and has a blindfold on. So to me, this is very much like the traditional justice symbol we see. But beyond that, it's like wanting to turn your back on your emotions, right? The moon and the water, and make a decision strictly based on logic. She's blocking her heart off. She's like, I don't want to see anything. I don't want to hear anything. I just want to make this strictly based on logic, because maybe you have been burned by doing it differently, right? Maybe you let feelings get involved and it got you burned, essentially. So that could be the energy you're in. Or if this is a boss, they could be realizing that, some of you might actually decide to go the legal route to get this resolved. So that could be what they're looking at now, like realizing, like, okay, this is getting kind of big. In the near future position, we have the Eight of Wands, the Hanged Man, and the Five of Cups. So the first thing that came to my mind with this is the Eight of Wands. Well, this is a Sagittarius card for one, but usually it represents a lot of communication, taking action. But then you have the Hangman, which is almost the opposite, which is saying, just really looking at things from a different perspective, really weighing things out, just trying to, really look at things from a different angle, basically. And then the Five of Cups. So on the one hand, this could just be saying that maybe for some of you, some communication comes in, let's say around the middle of the month, right? That helps you see things from a different perspective regarding a disappointment that you might have experienced. That's one way that it could play out. Another way this could be playing out is, well, this is actually, for you guys, Pisces is your, well, this is a Pisces card. I forgot if I mentioned that. This represents your 9th house. And then this would actually be a Scorpio card, which represents your fifth house. So let's say that this was a love relationship, right? And, maybe you've just been so disappointed in the whole situation, but now you might be looking at things from a different perspective and realizing that, let's say it was something minor, right? But just really something that was bothering you. Like maybe the person lied about how much money they had, right? And you might have been really disappointed. But now maybe you're starting to realize that it's really for the best that you did find this out now, because you're like, you know what? This could have gotten a lot worse had I not found this out. You know what I mean? That could be what's going on for some of you. And for others of you, this could just be really trying to, look at things from a higher perspective and try to forgive the person, but you're just having a bit of difficulty around that. But that's the energies I'm picking up on there. In the position of your influence on the situation, we have the Sun card, the Ten of Pentacles, and the King of Swords. So, one way this played out for me was this again takes me back to what I was saying earlier about that full moon in Aquarius, because the Sun, on the one hand, that could represent Leo energy. I mean, this is the primary Leo card in the major arcana, but since Leo is ruled by the Sun, this is another card that points to Leo energy a lot. King of Swords is another Aquarius energy. So what could be going on there is this could again be pointing to that full moon when the Sun is opposite the moon, right? Some news regarding your finances could be coming through. So, and what's even more interesting, if that's what's going on with these three cards, is Mercury retrograde in July started with Mercury squaring Uranus, which is the ruler of Aquarius. And I think that was around the time of the new moon that you guys had. A few days after that, so around I think the 6th of July, 7th of July. So maybe the first week of July might have been, the first hiccup that you guys had with the situation. And now what's going to happen around the time of that full moon in Aquarius, we're going to have that exact same aspect again, because Mercury has been going retrograde. By the time we get into August, it will be going direct again. But, it's going to take it a while to pass that point again where it's going to be in Leo and square Uranus in Taurus. So maybe something comes out around that time. I'm really picking up on that pretty heavily. So definitely watch out for that time of the full moon. Maybe even pick up a lottery ticket, a scratch off ticket or something around that time as well, because maybe, something you might have lost back then might come back to you around the time of that full moon. I'm just really picking up on that full moon energy pretty heavy for you guys. And given the cards that are here, it seems relatively positive. The Sun is one of the most positive cards you could have. Could just represent you just feeling good, energized. Again, being able to tap into that pure energy again. And then with the Ten of Pentacles and the King of Swords, for some of you, this could just represent that you're getting a lawyer involved, or maybe you already do have a lawyer involved. And maybe they're giving you the news that, yeah, you know what, we have what we need. We're going to get the money out of this person, whether it be a workplace situation. Like I said, for some of you, it could even be a, romantic relationship where this was happening, because you guys, again, like I said, I'm recording this at the time of that full moon eclipse in Capricorn. So for some of you, you might have had a relationship end, and maybe with that full moon in the 7th, that might have officially ended the relationship. So maybe, you guys have finished the divorce proceedings now, and then you might find out, okay, this is what you're going to be getting from that divorce, right? So that could be what's going on there. And again, like I said, for some of you, given that, Aquarius is the natural ruler of the 11th, which talks about friendships, and then the ruler of Aquarius is in your 11th house, and that full moon's going to be in the 8th house. This could definitely be saying, getting money from a friend if they did owe you money. What's interesting is in the environment position we have the Six of Swords. So this is actually more Aquarius energy. And on top of that, this is actually the middle 10 degrees of Aquarius, which is where that full moon is going to be. So a lot is just pointing to that. That particular time frame is really screaming at me in this whole spread. So keep an eye out for that. Now, this could just be, honestly, and depending on how shady this person you're dealing with is, this could even be them trying to just completely flee. So whatever the hell they owe you, for some of you they might just be trying to flat out leave and never be seen again. For others of you, this could just represent that this can represent resolution of the situation. And to me, I would say if this is a person that would flee, then maybe that would point to you getting a lawyer possibly involved, right? So, if that is the way it's playing out, then it would be more likely that that King of Swords would represent a lawyer for some of you. For others of you, you know what actually I just picked up on as well? And this might be a lot less likely for some of you, but let's say that this was all revolving around a trip that you wanted to take. I'm sorry for backtracking, but thinking about the fact that Hanged Man is ninth house for you guys, Pisces energy, which can represent long distance travel. Eight of Wands, and maybe this is saying that maybe the money, whatever money they owed you, you were trying to use it to go on a trip, right? Maybe it was even someone that you gave money to. They promised you, oh yeah, just give me this money, I'll put a deposit down, and you could go on this trip. And you found out that it wasn't happening, and you're disappointed around that. That could be the way it's playing out. And then what that could say in this particular case is if there's still a holdup on the money, you might end up still being able to take a trip in the meantime, but it might not be as big of a trip as you were hoping, because this to me would represent more of like a short distance travel. So that could be the way that's playing out there. But yeah, for a majority of you, this could just represent the person maybe even just giving up too. So maybe that's what it's going to be, where you might get what you want from them, but could just be them basically giving up, like, all right, here's what I owe you, and then they might just tap out basically. But definitely watch that. If someone does choose to flee, I think the energy you might be getting here and the message you might be getting here is pursue it legally, if they really are going to be that shady about it. All right, in the hopes or fears position, we have the Judgment card, and the Page of Wands. So this could be playing out a few different ways. Now, I always do point out to people with hopes or fears, whether it's great cards or bad cards in this position, it's not necessarily any proof of it playing out, just that it's more of what's on your mind. But with the Judgment card and the Page of Wands, this could represent that if this is a boss, I feel primarily the Queen of Wands energy, if that's how it's playing out, this can be saying that you're hoping for the Judgment that's going to knock them down a few pegs, right? From that Queen energy to Page energy. Now, for some of you, this can't even represent something that took place overseas, because, maybe there was something that already took place. Maybe you guys went on vacation, right, and got totally ripped off while you were out there, and you're trying to get money back from that, because the Page of Wands I also see as a card of travel sometimes. So if we combine that with the Fool energy, maybe that's you, saying that, oh, you decided to take this big trip. Maybe you didn't look into details too much. You thought everything was on the up and up. And then something ended up happening out there. And now you're trying to seek legal recourse. Maybe that's been a bit difficult because, with international laws or whatever. So that could even be the way it's playing out for some of you. That would probably be a lot less likely, but I did get that there. But yeah, either way, this could just be saying that you're hoping to get something back off the ground that maybe you thought the opportunity for it had passed, but that's what you're hoping for. And then in the outcome position, we get the Four of Swords. So this is primarily a card that points to healing. It's another Libra card as well. So for some of you, this let's say that this becomes a legal battle, right? You might find out that around the time of Libra, that might be when it's going to get resolved, and you might have peace behind that. Because they might end up, again, similar to what I was saying with the Ace of Pentacles and the Ace of Swords, where it might be the promise of something, but it might be down the line, right? So maybe you get news from the lawyer, hey, we got everything we need, you're good to go, everything should be resolved, the money should be back in your account by the time of, Libra. So let's say late September to mid-October, somewhere in that time frame, right? So still not ideal, right? Especially if you need the money, if you're in that Two of Pentacles energy, but you just might at this point just be so mentally exhausted around the whole thing that you're just happy to have it resolved and know that, okay, I know it's coming my way. I don't have to stress about it anymore, and you know, just put it to an end. All right, moving on to your oracle cards. The first one we got is By the Book. There's the artwork for it. And number 11, if that has any significance for you guys, that is a master number. Okay. So it says essential meanings: abiding by social rules, conformity, respecting cultural or family customs, universal laws. The Oracle's message: the universe works within a structure of divine laws and principles that provides a framework for human experience and evolution. The law of abundance, the law of prayer, the law of karma, the law of attraction, the law of thought, the law of compensation, and the law of nature are only a few that are known. These principles create perfect order and operate with a kind of precision beyond human understanding. Even revolution has its place in universal law. Human beings, in turn, have their own laws and customs that vary from culture to culture and family to family. Laws keep social order and govern behavior, reflecting an instinctive understanding that harmony is important. This is a time to learn these laws and conform to them, rather than being the rebel and flouting them. When this card appears, submit to structure and follow the rules even if they seem to make no sense. Release resistance, for universal laws will correct any disharmony. Open your eyes to these universal laws, and it will be easier to go by the book at this time. So, what's interesting there is that for some of you, that could be saying that maybe that's the conclusion that you're coming to, right? With the Eight of Wands, again, maybe some communication comes across, and that Hangman, right? Talking about you trying to look at things from a higher perspective. And then that Five of Cups, saying, that you're disappointed in the way things went down, but maybe you're starting to see the higher, the higher lesson that it provided for you. That can be the way that it's playing out for some of you. And then all the mention of law, what it could just be saying too is karmically. Again, watch out for that full moon you guys are going to have in your 8th house of Aquarius around the middle of August. Because that could just be saying that whatever you did lose, right? Maybe even if this person's shady and flees, maybe something comes back around, out of nowhere to help get your money straight either way, where one of those things may be totally unrelated to them. Like I said, you might just randomly go buy a $2 lottery ticket or a $5 scratch off or something and end up winning a lot of money, maybe even more than you lost to begin with, right? Okay. The relationship message says getting along with others entails understanding and respecting who they have become as a result of their environment, culture, and experience. Find a middle ground that allows the relationship to flourish while honoring the individuality of the other person. Play things by the book instead of trying to break the rules or pressure others to conform to the way you want to do them. Your connection will deepen as a result. Well, like I said, I wasn't getting a whole lot of a romantic relationship vibe here at all. But maybe if that is what's going on for some of you, if this isn't a relationship dynamic, hopefully you guys got something from that message there. All right, the prosperity message says, at this time you can expect a return on your investment. Whatever you have pursued, be it a dream you've long cherished, a skill you've cultivated, or a service you're called to, will come to you if you are willing to go by the book. You don't need to reinvent the wheel to be successful. Follow in the footsteps of others who have already achieved the thing you're striving for. You can learn a lot by observing the structures that are already working. Your creative projects and commitment to prosperity are in alignment with the needs of the world, but impatience may tempt you to cut corners to get there more quickly. Stick with what you know works, and you will attract abundance. So, pretty positive message there as well. Hopefully, you guys got something from that. All right, and then the next card we got from that deck is Go to Distance. There's the artwork for it, and the number there is 47. So, again, this brings me back to what I was saying with that new moon that you guys had in your sign, and then the fact that there was that Uranus and Mercury square going on right around that time. So for some of you, it might have been around the 4th of July when this all started. So if that's what the situation is, hopefully that gives you guys some additional confirmation. All right, let's see what the messages say for that. All right. It says endurance, strength, the long haul. The Oracle's message. To bring your dream to life, you must think long term and pay no attention to the fluctuations in the current of your experience. Joy and disappointment commingle with opportunities, so there is no need to fear the occasional obstacle. Life is not a sprint. This card is a reminder that you have endurance, strength, and fortitude to carry you all the way. Remain true to yourself. Your authenticity alone will keep you in alignment with the energy of miracles. What is yours will never be withheld from you. Remember that. So this card is a reminder that you have endurance, strength, and fortitude. You know, in some decks, the strength card is even referred to as fortitude. So again, that makes me think of, I think your message for last month too was trust the growth process. So again, if you were in that fool energy in the past, maybe this is saying, hey, you know, the time of looking at yourself in that way is over. You need to look at yourself more like this, you know, saying that you have grown a lot and you have a lot of strength to deal with whatever the situation may be. The relationship message says you are either in or are calling in a harmonious relationship that can stand the test of time. For better or worse, as you ride the ups and downs and even strain, break yourself, and are remade in new growth, you are being redeemed by the power of regeneration. Harmony does not mean there will never be a wrong note played, but that the relationship is marked by endurance and dedication to overall unity. A new song can be written, an instrument can be tuned, and the symphony of love will play on. Listen to your heart. Isn't it magnificent? So like I said, sorry guys, I wasn't picking up a huge relationship vibe here at all. Like I said, I will be doing a separate love reading for you guys in about a week and a half at most, so if you're looking for that, keep an eye out for that, but hopefully you got something from the relationship message there. And the prosperity message says your most precious dreams are not about instant gratification, but enduring prosperity. This is a time to think long term and engage in continued action. You will experience momentum building as you translate the ebb and flow into slow and steady movement forward. Your efforts, ideas, and hard work now can lead to greater riches than you can imagine. Stoke the fire so that an uninterrupted stream of energy is available to support you in all the phases of manifestation. Be assured that you are in the right place right now. Okay, so definitely a pretty positive message there. And before we move on from this deck, I will say that for some of you who you are considering legal recourse for this situation, I will say, to me, just those keywords, buy the book and go the distance, that could just be, you know, confirmation for you there to say, okay, you know what, if you're having a difficult time getting this money out of these people, whatever the situation may be, it could just be saying go buy the book, right? Get a lawyer involved and go the distance. Take them to court, whatever you have to do. That's just the way that I'm seeing that play out for some of you. And like I said, don't forget about that full moon energy. Like I said, something significant I see popping up there for you guys, all right? All right, and the next card we have is Crow Spirit, Co-Create with Spirit, and this is from the Spirit Animal Oracle deck. There's the artwork for it. Number here is 17. And that's actually the same number as the star card in the major arcana in tarot, which is an Aquarius card. So more Aquarius energy for you guys. There has to be some significance to that. And maybe even July 1st. Maybe that's when this started to happen for you guys. All right. Oracle message says, as you look around you, can you sense the magic that pulses through the world? Have you witnessed how every thought can become a thing? How every intention can call the universe into action as the sacred laws shape what you experience? The universe works in perfect order. When you align your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs with spirit, you will want to crow with delight, feeling the excitement and wonder of being in harmony with something much larger than yourself. Crow Spirit says you are right on target now to see your dreams magically come into being in the visible world. The law of abundance, compensation, frequency, and praise are operating in your favor now. Remember to be grateful and praise what is yours, even if it is still coalescing into form, still residing in the invisible realms of co creation. No matter what area of your life you're concerned with now, what you hope for is on its way, for Spirit is your co creation partner. And you know, with all the stuff that was focused on there, I forgot to mention too that with the Strength card and then also the Sun card too, this can definitely represent some kind of recognition for something you might have already put out there. And then with the Ten of Pentacles and the Aquarius card, again, that's pointing to other people's money, right? So maybe something that you've already put out there will start to get some recognition and some financial reward for it. So, you know, and then given that it's Aquarius too, it could be around something you have online, if we're going to get a little more specific there. All right, lastly, we'll look at a mudra card. So, for those of you who haven't been watching my general videos, I've been pulling mudra cards for all the signs for each month. And what a mudra is basically is it's a hand gesture rather that you hold while meditating. Normally, you want to hold it for at least 5 minutes, especially if you're not used to meditating. But if you're more accustomed to meditating on a regular basis, you can hold them for half an hour or even 45 minutes. And this particular mudra you guys got is called the Padma mudra. The keyword for it is blossoming. And I'll turn the card over so you can see some information on it. Alright, so if you wanted to pause it or take a screenshot, you can. And as you can see, not everything fits in the frame right now, so I'll just move it up a bit so you can see the rest. But yeah, it says weakens ego grasping, opens anahata chakra, settles the mind, benefits the heart and pericardium, balances the immune system, awakens the body's self-healing power, ignites spiritual devotion. Alright, so if that sounds like something you think would benefit you guys, then I'll actually put the description of that in the video as well, and you could check that out. And like I said, definitely keep an eye out for that full moon in the sign of Aquarius. Like I said, right around the middle of August. I see something significant might happen around that time for you guys. All right, we'll wrap up there, and I'll see you all next month. Bye.